Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us on cricketnext.com. I'm Shivani Gupta and today we're building up to the first qualifier of IPL season 2023. And it promises to be a cracker because on one side you've got one of the most revered, one of the most successful sides that has been led by one of the true icons of Indian cricket, possibly looking for his perfect swan song, especially because it's happening today in Chennai. But overall, as far as the season is concerned, on the other side, you've got the new emerging powerhouse of the Indian Premier League, also led by a man who is emerging as the true heir, as in captaincy to MS Dhoni. So we're of course talking about CSK versus Gujarat Titans. The two sides have entered this qualifier on very different notes. On one side, you've got of course Gujarat Titans ruling supreme, getting there with ease. On the other side, of course, CSK hasn't had the one of the seasons that they're almost known for, but at least it's an improvement from their last season where they finished ninth. So let's introduce our guests, our experts joining us. Joining me is our in-house expert Chetan Narula, cricket journalist, someone who's obviously covered a lot of series for India and globally. Also joining me is Sahil, my colleague from Cricket Next, who's actually in Chennai. So he's the one to be envied today, Chetan, because he's actually in Chennai. He's going to be watching what is possibly MS Dhoni's last dance in the IPL colors in Chennai. Sahil, is that what the big buzz is today in Chennai?
I think I'll just add two words to your statement there. Last dance in Chennai this year. So
Okay.
I'm still not sure whether he'll hang up his boots pretty soon because a lot of things, a lot of cricket methodology is not pointing towards that. And from what I've picked up in and around the city, I kind of get that feeling that this is not going to be his last dance. He was out there practicing for more than an hour last night. So he was not
Hmm.
taking it easy, and he definitely wants to put that best foot forward in what will be his last dance, quote unquote, this year.
This year. Chetan, you agree with that because there's been a lot of build up and buzz this season whether MS Dhoni is going to hang his boots.
Shivani, first of all, yes, very jealous of Sahil. I was supposed to be in Chennai, but for some unforeseen reasons, I couldn't travel for this game. Look, as an MS Dhoni fan, as an Indian cricket fan, as somebody who's loved watching MS Dhoni, loved covering MS Dhoni, I don't want this to be the last dance. Even yesterday we had a show on Cricket Next. I said as much. I don't want this to be the last dance. I have this feeling as well that probably this is not the end. Maybe there's one more season to come, cricketing logic wise, because it's a 3-year contract. It leaves a big hole. They haven't identified who the successor is going to be. All of that. However, he's not going to drop hints. That's the thing. Sahil said that he was practicing and all. That's what he does. Even the 2019 ODI World Cup, in his heart, he
Yeah.
knew that that was his last ODI appearance for India. But he was there. He was practicing. He was talking to journalists. He was talking to fans. He was talking to everybody. He was enjoying the moment. He was enjoying the limelight. There was no hint at all of him leaving the big stage. And I think that's the same this time around as well. When and if he leaves the big stage after this season, he's not going to be dropping hints. He's as always, going to leave us all befuddled. क्या करने वाले हैं धोनी, क्या करने वाले हैं धोनी, हम सारी बातें करते रह जाएंगे, उन्होंने जो करना है वो करेंगे.
Absolutely. I think that's how he's led his career as well. You never
Yeah.
really knew what was coming from MS Dhoni. I remember when he retired, from the Indian team as well. It's not like a lot of us saw coming. Yes, there was obviously a lot of build up. There was a World Cup before that as well, and we were all talking about it, whether he's going to do it now. When it eventually happened, it shocked everybody because he's known to do things his way, the Mahi way, and nobody can really guess. He doesn't really also like to make a lot of build up around him, and I think right now he will be focused that he needs to get the Chennai team into the final and ensure that they can lift that title because that's what the deserving spot of Chennai is. That's where Chennai belongs, or at least its players feel like they belong. We've got a few of the statements from Mahi as well. So in 2020, definitely not. Still haven't left behind my legacy. 2021, 2022, he said would be unfair to not thank Chennai. But maybe this is why there was a little bit of build up because maybe he dropped a few hints that Chennai needs to move on or that he could not be around for too long. So in 2023, this time around, he told people that you've decided it is my last. I think if you needed a statement from Dhoni to figure out one way or the other. I think this is it. But without dwelling too much on whether this is going to be Thala's last dance in Chennai this year or not, I think we should talk about just the build up to this match as well. Chetan, as I was saying, you know,
Yeah.
Chennai is known as one of the most successful sides in this IPL, but they've had a few wobbly years, right? Even this season, it's not like they've set the stage alight. And they're facing a team which is emerging as the powerhouse of Indian Premier League now, defending champions.
Yeah.
Literally everything is firing for Gujarat Titans. They have this swagger that only a side that has that kind of numbers behind them can have. They're led by a captain who's emerging as, the man to watch out for Indian cricket, not just IPL. They've got Gill, they've got Shami, they've got Rashid Khan, they've got all. I mean, I could rattle off all their names. So, do you feel that even though this match is happening in Chennai, where GT has never played Chennai before, but because GT have also never lost to Chennai in their three matches before, do you feel that Gujarat do start as the firm favorites?
Absolutely. I think Gujarat, they are the informed team. They are the in vogue team. Let's just say that they're the in vogue team. You've taken so many names. I think two names that you missed out, and I think those two names actually, define what GT is. On the one hand, you have Rahul Tewatia. He has this spirit. Never say die spirit. When he's at the crease, the match is not over, and it's never over until the last ball. And that's what Gujarat, define when they are on the field. That this is not over until it's over, and that's how they won their games. That's how they won the IPL last year as well. And the other name is Ashish Nehra. A lot of credit has gone to Hardik Pandya, and rightly so. I think he's the future T20 World Cup captain. I want to say T20 World Cup winning captain, but let's leave that for 2024. But yeah, but the hard work of Ashish Nehra, the thinking, the intensity, the inputs, that also cannot be denied. So it's a wholesome package. You have Mohammad Shami and Rashid Khan who are competing for the purple cap. You have two players, two bowlers, prime bowlers competing for the purple cap. You have one batsman who's gunning for the orange cap. You have a captain
Yes.
who's leading from the front. You have everybody chipping in multiple times. And despite an injury to somebody like Kane Williamson, this team is right at the top. So, like I said, they don't give up and they don't lose. They don't lose when they're supposed to lose. So I think that really defines Gujarat Titans. For me, CSK is not going to be easy in Chennai, but I think Gujarat Titans have their measure.
Yeah, and Sahil, I think it's interesting he mentioned Tewatia. I was going to talk about the finishing prowess of both teams. Now,
Yeah.
on that marker as well, you would say that Gujarat has an upper hand because they've got, even though Gill has been stealing the show, and he's scored in, I think, about 25% of the team's runs this season, and he's the only one
Yeah.
from Gujarat Titans, even in the top 20 of the top scorers this season. But, you know, you've got Miller, you've got Tewatia, who do play that role when they need it, right? On the
Yeah.
other hand, you've got Raidu and Moin Ali from the Chennai squad who haven't really come up to the stage so much. So I think in terms
Yeah.
of top order batting, yes, of course they've got Gill, but even in terms of finishing prowess, Gujarat is looking more settled.
No, Shivani, if we just look at both the teams, the kind of run they've had so far, if you look at Chennai, Devon Conway and Ruturaj Gaikwad haven't given much of an opportunity to the middle order or the lower order to actually contribute. Together, they have around 1,000 runs in the season already. And, the way they batted in the last game against Delhi Capitals, I think it showed the kind of domination they have had in the league stage so far. Having said that, Gujarat, have been one of those freak sides. Last season, they had what, 8 to 9 different player of the match in every game. And this season also the template kind of was continuing before Shubman Gill kind of just stamped his authority and just dug up a wicket there saying, I'll be as consistent as I can be. And that's what he has been. Two back-to-back hundreds is no ordinary feat. Only VK has managed that in this season so far. So both sides are kind of composed differently. And CSK having Ajinkya Rahane and Ambati Raidu in the middle order. Both of them who have kind of shot on international cricket and domestic cricket in the past. So they're not giving much of chance for people like Ravindra Jadeja and Moin Ali to actually come and dictate terms in the middle with the bat. So that is going to be one key area. And I strongly feel that they should drop Raidu for tomorrow's game and allow Jadeja and Moin to actually have some say with the bat, because again, Noor Ahmed and Rashid Khan, you definitely need those hard-hitting lefties out in the middle, say, for the last 5, 6 overs.
Hmm. They've got Rahane as well, and I think Chetan and I
Yeah.
had discussed Rahane's transformation earlier in the season as well. So I think he would also look to play that role as far as Chennai is concerned. But let me talk a little bit about the Gill factor, because I think that cannot be escaped as far as this match is concerned. He's obviously been ruling supreme. I think he's as beautiful to watch, as consistent. He's coming off two back-to-back centuries. He's broken the heart of all RCB fans plus Virat Kohli fans just recently. So we know the zone that Gill is in. But is that a good thing, Chetan, that so many of the Gujarat Titan runs have come from Gill's bat that literally nobody else is even in the top 20? Or is it just because the others have played a role around him and they've not really needed to do too much? Could it be a problem for them that suddenly if Gill doesn't fire on a day, then they don't know where to look? Or is it that even the others have actually performed the role that they needed to when Gill is firing?
Well, when Gill hasn't fired, that's when the others have fired.
Chetan.
You look at Vijay Shankar. Can you hear me?
Mm.
Am I audible?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So I was saying that even when Shubman Gill hasn't fired this season for Gujarat, the others have come to the party. Hardik has scored half centuries. Vijay Shankar has been batting superbly. Saha has put in the runs. Abhinav Manohar has put in the runs. David Miller, Rashid Khan, Tewatia, all of them have chipped in whenever it's been needed. So Gujarat is not lacking for runs, and you're absolutely right. They have found a formula where they're batting around Shubman Gill. The way he bats, the first half of his innings is always pure timing, running between the wickets. It's when he crosses the 50 mark is the acceleration comes, which reminds me a bit of Rohit Sharma. But having said that, his form actually reminds me of how Virat Kohli was when he was starting his career. When Virat Kohli was at the crease, everything was going right for him. He was winning hearts left, right, and center. He was scoring runs left, right, center. He was just not stopping scoring runs. And I think Shubman Gill in the last 1.5 years has mirrored what Virat Kohli's start to his career was really. And you can really see when people call him the prince or the king to be. I think in a way the baton, if not in the IPL, was not passed. Somewhere in the future it will be passed across all formats from Virat Kohli to Shubman Gill. So we are witnessing the rise of India's next superstar batsman. And I think from that perspective, it's not surprising that he's taken over the reins for Gujarat Titans and everybody's batting around him. And I think Ashish Nehra and Hardik Pandya have realized that they need to bat around him. Also, if I can say, you can't win an IPL with 3 batsmen scoring major runs, what RCB is trying to do for the last 15 years. Every every IPL that has been won by 1 or 2 batsmen scoring a majority of runs and the other batting around them and then having a balance in bowling. And Gujarat have hit that formula perfectly.
Yeah.
So, even if it's just one batsman scoring and the others batting around him, it's working. And that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got that balance as far as their batting is concerned. Obviously, you would want somebody like a Shubman Gill to lead from the front. Every side needs that. And very rightfully, others are chipping in when their time comes, but they're allowing him to flourish and he's also delivering. It's one thing that the teams make a strategy, but the star batsman has to deliver. Shubman Gill, the prince of Indian cricket, is certainly delivering, and I think very soon he could be anointed the king as well as the baton that Chetan is talking about passes on. Sahil, I want to understand from you. You're in Chennai. You must have interacted with a lot of fans. How are people reacting to Shubman Gill? I mean, as much as they want Dhoni's side to win, I'm sure there are still admirers of what Gill has managed to do.
Just this morning, I was speaking to a gentleman from Kolkata who's stationed as a security guard in Chennai. So again, a unique combination. I was just talking IPL with him, and I was just taking a walk down the street. So I was just talking. He was like, Dhoni will play well, Dhoni will play hard, but he has to stop MI. So MI versus CSK, the rivalry kind of continues, and they are kind of all praise for Shubman Gill. Rightly said, Chetan said that he's going to be the crown prince, everything saying, but let me remind everyone that the king is still comfortably sitting in the throne. He is not going anywhere, having scored those 200.
Which king
But
are you
yes,
talking about?
We are talking about King Kohli. There's only one and only, no other king. So,
Spoken
so
as a Kohli fan, yeah.
Shubman, I have kind of watched his journey grow from the under 16 days, right? When he was dominating the Vijay Merchant Trophy for Punjab, scoring those 800, 900 run season. And that hunger
Mhm.
which we are seeing right now, it kind of evaporated at the start of his international career, where the starts were there, very promising, very beautiful, very elegant. But that formula to make it big was kind of missing from his recipe. He cracked that now, and in the last 1 year, we have seen him score more hundreds than probably anyone around the circuit, and that's a big plus. And around Chennai know that they have to stop this guy up, and
Yeah.
they have their task cut out. That Gill is standing between them and the 10th final spot, so it'll take some
Yeah.
doing to stop this guy in the form which he is right now.
There will be pressure on Gill arriving into a match like this against a top side like Chennai, knowing that there are high expectations from you, knowing that you have to deliver. So it will be interesting test for Gill today, exactly how he handles that pressure. But you're right. I think Chennai would maybe devising strategies that, okay, our first step is to get Gill out cheaply. Everything follows from there, because if he gets going, then he can bat the match out of your reach, regardless of how
Yeah.
experienced the Chennai Super Kings may be. And speaking of the Chennai Super Kings, let me talk a little bit about their lineup. Chetan, you were rightly mentioned. You were rightly mentioning there are many names you can take from the Chennai side who have all chipped in right this season, and the entire season has been built on the lesser known names of the Chennai Super Kings, not the
Yeah.
Dhonis and the Jadejas. Actually, you have the likes of Gaikwad, you have the likes of Conway, you have Dubey. There is Rahane, who's rebranded himself. There's Tushar Deshpande. There is Patirana. These are all new emerging talent. I mean, some a little bit older than the others, but not the stars that you would generally talk about when you're talking about a CSK team. And it's good to see that all of them are rising to the occasion.
Absolutely. I think this has been the key to Chennai's revival, because the stars really went away from Chennai because of the auction and releasing players. They could not, for the first time in 15 years or 12, 13 years, Chennai could not get back the crux of their squad, because there were two extra teams and so on and so forth. So, in that particular sense, what they did wrong over the last two seasons, they have righted a lot of those wrongs. They have relied on future superstars, experience, bits and pieces players, and I'm not referring to just Rabindra Jadeja here. So in that particular sense, you can see how Dhoni has left his imprint on the strategy, on the thinking, how to get this team together, how to get this team firing really. And I think as much as Chennai will be worried about Shubman Gill, Gujarat will also be worried about somebody like Ruturaj Gaikwad and Devon Conway. Conway has been magnificent. He's an all format player for New Zealand. Because he's from New Zealand, he's not celebrated as much, not talked about as much. But look at his exploits, whether it's in IPL or whether it's in Australia or whether it's in England. He's done superbly across formats. And then Ruturaj Gaikwad, he gets that explosiveness. Ajinkya Rahane, just playing without pressure. Shivam Dubey, I think we need to talk about Shivam Dubey. The way, he may not play for India again, or he may, we don't know. But when he played for India, he was not this player. This player has been released from some sort of shackles, really. And then you have the likes of Moeen Ali, Jadeja, Dhoni himself, and obviously Ambati Rayudu used as an impact player. They can use these players the way the match situation dictates. And the biggest thing, they're not even using Ben Stokes. He's flown back. So it just goes to show how Chennai have gone from strength to strength. I still believe their bowling is a bit weaker than compared to
Yeah,
Gujarat, who
then
has the
compared
best
to
attack. Yeah, Gujarat has the best attack in the tournament. So
yeah.
um, that could be the difference between the two sides. But if somebody like Deepak Chahar can strike early, remove Gill, maybe another batsman there, it just remains to be seen what happens. I'd just like to say one thing. There was this one game against Rajasthan, if I'm not mistaken, where Chennai batted first, scored 200, and they went on to lose the game. I'm not sure if it was Rajasthan or it was some other side, but they did lose that game after scoring 200, and that was a shocking outcome for Chennai because when you're playing at Chepauk, you don't score 200 and lose. So that
Yeah.
could be a weakness for Chennai today because, like I said, their bowling is the weaker side there.
Mhm. No, you're absolutely right. They've had some tough reversals, and the penchant of scoring high 200s also is something that has grown as far as this season is concerned. So, a lot of teams, especially towards the end, have shown the mettle to chase down those bigger targets. Okay, let me ask Sahil about this. You know, a lot of talk has been about Chennai being a fortress for the Super Kings, and of course, there is
Yeah.
data to suggest that. But that fortress is being breached, right? And then you've got their
Yeah.
their coach, their support staff talking about how even they are struggling a little bit to understand the conditions at the Chepauk. So in
Yeah.
Chennai, what is the talk and the word around what Chepauk is likely to offer, and how much are the Chennai Super Kings comfortable with how they're reading the conditions?
First things first, it's very hot, it's very humid, and the humidity, there's going to be no respite from humidity even today. Yesterday, all the CSK players had their big towels out and there were like regular hydration breaks. So humidity is going to be a big factor. And about the conditions, they not being able to get a hang of conditions. Let's just understand the fact that IPL hasn't been played in this part of the world for a long time now. It was being played due to COVID and other reasons. It wasn't played in Chennai, and the stadium has gone massive renovation in the past, and a lot of things have changed. The new stands coming up, so the wind factors have also kind of changed. So it will take some time for them to get a hang of the surface and the conditions. But I still feel that they have the slight edge because Noor Ahmed and Rashid Khan make Gujarat heavily reliant on them as far as spin is concerned. But when you look at CSK, they have Theekshana, they have Moeen Ali, they have Ravindra Jadeja, and if Dhoni wants to add one more spinner, then he has the services of Mitchell Santner, who was bowling with the new ball yesterday in the nets. So they are very heavy on spin, and there is humidity which will aid Deepak Chahar early on. So conditions will likely be in their favor because they do understand this part of the world. But Gujarat too will pose a very stiff challenge because, as you said and as Chetan said, Shami with the new ball is going to be very, very threatening and penetrative. And if you make those early inroads into someone like a Ruturaj Gaikwad and Devon Conway and expose the middle order early, then Chennai will certainly be on the back foot.
Tell me a little bit about what Ravindra Jadeja. I mean, has there been any word with him? What is his mental state like? Because he's always very crucial for the
Yeah,
Chennai Super Kings, and he hasn't done badly this season. And I think he has to strike for them to do well in big matches. He's also a big match
yeah,
player. He has the knack to both take wickets and play match-winning knocks with the bat. He scored
yeah.
153 runs and has taken 17 wickets so far. And I think for
Yeah.
some reason that this would be a great stage for him.
Absolutely. The way he was practicing yesterday, he was spending a lot of time batting. So he wasn't bowling. None of the CSK bowlers were around yesterday because long traveling it has been in the league stage. So all the bowlers from both the teams kind of took a rest day off. They were chilling in the hotel, but the batters were out there. GT probably didn't have all their star batters, but CSK, the entire roster was out. And Ravindra Jadeja was first to enter the nets and last to exit. So he was kind of there for an extended session against the spinners. So specifically, he worked on facing the wrist spin, just to prepare for Noor Ahmed and Rashid Khan. So Prashant Solanki and Ajay Mandal from Chhattisgarh, who has that little Chinaman in his armory, was bowling a lot to Ravindra Jadeja, and MS was around. So MS again was there at the net session yesterday, and he was there. He was constantly in Jadeja's ears. So even he understands, Jadeja, the player against spin, is going to be very crucial in these conditions. And even in Ahmedabad, even Ahmedabad, you never know which pitch will be used, the black soil or the red soil. So Chennai need to have that batting order in place, which can kind of counter both the strips if they kind of reach to the final. So Jadeja will be very crucial. And right now, so far in the tournament, he hasn't got much of an opportunity to bat because, as I said, top order has been very heavy. And then you have seen Ajinkya Rahane 2.0 and Shivam Dube, what, 3.0, 4.0, because this is the version we haven't heard of him yet. And he's only getting stronger by every session and every time I watch him bat.
Hmm. Chetan, what about Pathirana? While he's the kind of talent that obviously gets us very excited, and you want to see exactly what he comes up with in every match and how his journey is going to be, because he's a 20-year-old, has lots of time, and lots of, miles to cover. But he can also be a little of a wild card, right?
Oh,
But,
absolutely. He is. He's
goes
he's
astray a
certainly a
little
wild
bit.
card.
Yeah.
No, no, absolutely. He's certainly a wild card. I mean, if you look at him, the way Dhoni uses him towards the end, towards the death, but he does send across a few wide deliveries, which can be a bit disturbing at that point in the game. I think he has tremendous potential. I think he needs to build his accuracy, build his space, needs to know how to really, I mean, the arm really goes out, but how to redirect the way he
Yeah.
bowls really. There's a lot to learn from Lasith Malinga when he is in the Sri Lankan structure, but there's also a lot to learn from MS Dhoni. Like MS Dhoni has said that he could be a very useful weapon for Sri Lankan cricket and T20 cricket going ahead. So there's a lot to like about him, but he's just so raw at the moment.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
that really I think signifies or just shows how raw the Chennai bowling attack is, because they are relying. I mean, Deepak Chahar hasn't been around throughout the season. He was injured for the better part of the season, so they're relying on
Mm.
somebody like Tushar Deshpande. They're relying on Patirana. They're relying on a few other youngsters to deliver the pace bowling. So it just goes to show how raw the Chennai bowling attack has been. It's the spinners who have all the experience, and I wouldn't be surprised if the pitch today gives a bit of an advantage to the spinners, especially the Chennai spinners. But then again, you can't deny that Gujarat also have two really good spinners in their armory. So, but again, yes, talking about Pathirana, it's always exciting to watch him, but just that element of rawness about him, which can be a
Yeah.
bit tough to control in the situation that Dhoni uses him in.
Yeah, and I think he couldn't have asked for a better captain to play under, because I think MS Dhoni is known for exactly this. Identifying what a player is good at, leading to them in that direction, giving them their space, allowing them to grow. And I think this would be a fabulous experience as far as Patirana is concerned. And he couldn't ask for a better captain to play under, especially in this format for his growth. I also want to invite, we are in the final few minutes of our preview. I want to invite some of our viewers. If you have a question, please shoot it up, and my team is going to, throw it up for us, and we'll try and take a few questions as we end as well. All right, let me talk about some of the final predictions in the meantime. Okay, we've got Ravi Shankar Kumar asking. This is like looking forward. He's looking towards the final, and he's already decided that CSK and MI are going to be in the final. So CSK is winning today, I'm guessing, and then the GT doesn't win even in the second qualifier. In any case, who wants to take that? Sahil, CSK or MI? I don't know why he has missed out on GT and Lucknow completely.
I think people are not even talking about Lucknow right now because what has happened in the league stage. But I have this strong, dirty feeling that they'll quietly sneak up the ladder because they are a bloody good side. You just can't ignore Lucknow Super Giants. And just
Yeah,
look at the
absolutely.
venues where we are playing in Ahmedabad. I think Lucknow in Ahmedabad and Chennai, Lucknow will not enjoy that much in Chennai, but they have the side to do well in Ahmedabad. So just not write off Lucknow yet. And CSK or MI, my heart will always say CSK because we always need to keep the Thalla factor in mind, and we always want that buzz in the stadium because when that guy walks out to bat, just forget batting. Me and Chetan were covering the last game at the Arun Jaitley Stadium, Delhi and CSK. So Dhoni, 4 overs before he was coming out to bat, had just walked down the dressing room and was seated in the dugout. He was just doing shadow, and all the focus had already shifted from the square to the dugout. So that's what the man brings to the table, and for that bit only, I want him to play the final.
Yeah, but we're all being very emotional about it, right? And
We
we've got
are,
three
yes.
other teams who are also in the final four, and they're not there just so that Dhoni can have his
Yeah.
perfect swan song, as was being talked about. Although here, I think we have a consensus. We feel that Dhoni might just play one more season.
Yeah.
GT clear favorites, champion team is what Gopal Saha is saying. No doubt about it, because certainly as far as how they've held up so far, actually, Chetan, I want to talk about Hardik Pandya. I mean, he really led from the front last season, got them to the title. This time around, he's playing a more backstagey role. He's not really in front. He's allowing his other
Yeah.
players to shine, and he has a whole array of them. He's got a basket full of players to shine. But the way he's handling a team and the kind of commitment and aggression, but at the same time, focus he brings to his team is absolutely mind-boggling.
Absolutely. I think what we saw last year was the the identity of Hardik Pandya as a potential future Indian T20 captain. That okay, you know what, this guy was there all time, and we didn't notice. So we started noticing Hardik Pandya. Okay, you know what, he can be a captain. He can lead so well, and if you go and win the IPL, that's bound to happen. What's happened this year is his growth as a captain.
Hmm.
It's been a journey. Last year could have been a one-off, but to see Gujarat the way they're performing, the elements are there. Yesterday Sahil used a cooking analogy that your ingredients are there. The chef is not good, then you're not going to get anything. So in that particular sense, again, the ingredients are all there, and he's a good chef because they're just carrying on from where they left last season. So in a way, it's been his growth as captain, and that reaffirms that it's not just a shot in the dark if Indian cricket decides to
Yeah.
vouch on him or bet on him to become the future T20 captain, lead him lead the side in T20 World Cup, or even ask him to rebuild India's T20 fortunes in that particular sense. And just looking at the probable 12, not the 11 anymore, I think that's a
Hmm.
fantastic side. And we still have a couple of names missing there. Manohar is not there. Sai Sudarshan is not there. So it just goes to show Williamson, he's injured. It just goes to show the kind of ingredients, like I said, that are at his disposal, and how well Gujarat could do. And just to answer, the comments that have come in, Gujarat,
Hmm.
I agree. Gujarat clear favorites at this point. CSK or Mumbai, who will win? I don't think either side will win the tournament.
Well, there you have your answer. I think what we've seen is also, I remember when the two new teams were being added, there was a lot of question mark on how any new team can one build a side which can take on the old giants like Mumbai and Chennai. And then you've had the last two seasons where actually the newcomers have really shocked everyone, and the old guard has had to give way a little bit. Chetan, you wanted to say something?
And I just remembered what Sahil said about Lucknow probably not enjoying Chennai as much. I think they will enjoy Chennai because compare it with Mumbai's spin attack. They have a better spin attack. The way Amit Mishra and
Yeah.
Ravi Bishnoi have bowled this year, Krunal Pandya, they have three proper spinners, and I think they have another one sitting in there. I'm forgetting the name, but compared to Mumbai's spin attack, if it's a spin-friendly wicket, then Lucknow
Yeah.
will be in with a shout, and their batting is amazing as well. So it could be a shout out or a shootout between the spin attacks. But again, we'll discuss that match tomorrow in a bit more detail.
Yeah, we will, of course, focus on that in a bit more detail tomorrow. Today, we're looking forward to this classic, match building up. It's got, as I said, the new overpowering team and energy of Gujarat versus the old school balance and that experience of Chennai
Yeah.
delivering in big matches as well. That's the head to head, but I don't think we can read much into it. GT being such a new
Yeah.
team, although their record is as good as they would want to be against a champion side like CSK. So almost time for me to take some final comments. Sahil, you're in Chennai. I think we will look at you to kind of give us a sense, but leave your emotions out of it this time around. Don't think of Dhoni and Chennai from an emotional point of view. What is your objective analysis of who's going to do better today?
It's going to be 51-49 in Chennai's favor. It's going to be a close game. I expect a 160
I think
170
we're
contest at max. 160 170 contest at max and 51% in Chennai's favor. Just because of the home advantage they have.
51%. All right, just a percent.
Yeah.
Chetan, what do you think?
I think Gujarat are the clear favourites, but if anybody can stop them, it will be Chennai, and it has to be in Chennai. I mean, give them an extra match to play, put them in a situation they haven't been, and if there's any team that can do that, it's Chennai, really. But even if Gujarat
Can't
lose
really
today,
leave
they'll bounce
emotions.
back. No,
Can't
even if
we can't
Gujarat
really
lose
leave the
today.
emotions.
No. What I'm saying is, even if Gujarat lose today, I see them still winning the tournament. So, but again, like I said, if there's any side that can stop them, it's Chennai.
All right. Let me just say that I have a feeling Chennai will be made to work hard if they have to get into the final this time around. So I have a feeling that Gujarat, just the kind of energy they're bringing, it will take a lot for Chennai to stop that energy and break that momentum. Although you could argue that because Gujarat has peaked for so long in this season. The
Mhm.
law of averages could catch up with them sometime. But I have a feeling
Yeah.
that Chennai could get to the final, but they'll have to, do a little bit of extra hard work. We've got Ravi Shankar Kumar who doesn't agree with me. He's saying CSK will win today's match. Let's see. But I do feel that it will take an extraordinary effort or an extraordinary combustion from the side of Gujarat to lose this match. And I feel they are a cinch to get to the final either ways. And the other spot is going to be decided between the other three because I don't see Gujarat letting off that steam. I think they've got individuals who are both individually very highly motivated. On top of that, as a unit, they're clicking very well. They've got the balance of both bat and ball like no other side this season. And I don't see a side like that failing. Especially, they would like to get to the final first up, sit pretty, and just watch the action unfold in the other two matches. Then, all right. On that note, I want to end our preview. Thanks a lot to all of our my colleagues Chetan and Sahil for joining us. Of course,
Thank
Sahil will
you.
continue to get you more updates from Chennai and the Chepauk through the day. And of course, to our viewers as well, join us again tomorrow at 2 p.m., where we will build up to the eliminator as well.